I sorta grew out of my anime and manga phase not that long after high school. Before that, I was a pretty typical weeb. I wanted to go to Japan and live there, I picked up a bit of the language, and pretty much anything folks were into I was willing to try. After a while, I just couldn't quite find the time or gumption to keep up with it like I used to. Then I grew up and became a normal, functioning adult. Nah, who am I kidding? I'm in my 30s and haven't really matured beyond that point, but there is some truth to me falling out of grace with that sort of niche. Up till not that long ago, I just kinda casually kept up with One Piece in the 5 minutes a week that it took me to read the latest chapter of the manga. All kidding aside, I picked up My Hero Academia not that long ago and breezed through the series on Crunchyroll for a while. Side note, Crunchyroll isn't paying me or giving me anything for this, but I'd love for them to. Call me Crunchyroll, I'll make some fun stuff when I stop being lazy. Anyway, My Hero Academia reminds me a lot of One Piece, if One Piece had a lot less water and a lot more superhero teenage high school drama. It covers a lot of the same themes, but it puts stronger emphasis on certain aspects of those themes than One Piece did. For example, Midoriya's inheritance of One for All at the very start of the series is reminiscent of Shanks bestowing his important Straw Hat to Luffy at the very beginning of One Piece. While returning the Straw Hat to Shanks after he's become stronger is one of the central points of One Piece and a major part of Luffy's character, Midoriya's gift is also a central plot point and a major part of his character. The difference is that Midoriya's gift can't be returned, and so his goal is instead to become strong like his mentor, All Might. The similarities are there, but the story and settings demand slight differences. There's plenty more similarities I picked up while watching My Hero Academia that range from hauntingly familiar to vaguely similar, but if I sat here and pointed out all the similarities to One Piece, this video would drone on for hours. Also, One Piece has been going on for so long that My Hero Academia basically falls into that whole Simpsons paradox. Everything's been done by One Piece or other, older shonen anime, so My Hero Academia will unfortunately never explore uncharted shonen anime waters. Of course, all the puzzle pieces fell into place for me when I read recently that One Piece's creator, Ichiro Oda, is the main inspiration for My Hero Academia's creator, Kohei Horikoshi, which is great because if you're going to look up to anyone in that art and storytelling niche, you might as well make it someone who with real talent and genuine passion for his creation like Oda, instead of somebody who clearly keeps their series going because everyone expects him to, like a certain someone. But I digress. A friend of mine recently brought to my attention the fact that a local movie theater to us was going to be playing the My Hero Academia movie, Two Heroes, and suggested we go. He got us some prime real estate in terms of seats, since all the seating at that theater was assigned seating, and we went the other day to attend. The people viewing with us were about what you'd expect from people who enjoy mainstream anime. Cosplayers, hardcore introverts, they're too awkward to be in public, cringelords, peppy extrovert weebs that aren't afraid to laugh loudly at every joke and don't know what acceptable indoor volume is. You know, the usual suspects. It was like I was at Comic-Con, except washed up anime voice actors weren't begging me to buy their autographs, so that was at least a plus. Anyway, the movie's synopsis is that Midoriya and All Might are attending an expo on some big, scientifically advanced island, and the story revolves very heavily around All Might and his friend, a quirkless but brilliant scientist, David Shield, who's known All Might since even before he became the top hero. There's a huge amount of emphasis on All Might and David's relationship with one another, so characters like Midoriya take a bit of a back seat on this one. It feels like Two Heroes exists only to build some lore pertaining to All Might's past, and if you're a fan of the character in the series, you'll probably find this movie even more satisfying. So here's where you'll be finding spoilers for the movie, so if you want to avoid those, you might want to turn away now. For those of you here to see if I enjoyed the movie or not, I'd say, yeah, if you absolutely love My Hero Academia and can't get enough of it, and you want more of it, go see it. If not in theaters, definitely make time to watch it online or pirate it, or whatever it is you young kids do these days to get your shonen fix. It should go without saying that this movie probably won't appeal to you if you don't already enjoy the anime. As for the movie itself, it was surprisingly solid. A bit slow to start, with a predictable middle, but a fairly satisfying climax. All in all, I'd say the movie met my expectations of what a My Hero Academia movie should have been. It's basically just a longer episode of the anime, just stretched out to fill an hour or so. As they say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Two Heroes is absolutely the epitome of that saying. That's really about all the praise I have for the movie. You guys aren't here for what the movie does right, you're all here to know what the movie does wrong. Probably the most glaring weakness of the movie is the penchant to follow what the anime does nearly perfectly. This includes constant flashbacks to notable points in the anime, which it does several fucking times, much to my annoyance. Normally, I don't mind that sort of stuff in the anime, because the point of it is to add emphasis to a scene, and more importantly, to fill airtime, because animation is expensive as hell. But if I have to pay a premium to watch an anime movie instead of pirate it, the least these people can do is reanimate the scenes of Midoriya crying as a child while being comforted by his mother. They play that scene like 3 times in the movie, and if they'd have played it a 4th, I'd have probably walked right the fuck out of there. The whole point of that is to add emphasis to the fact that Midoriya was at one point quirkless, and now David Shield and David Shield's daughter are also quirkless, and so he kind of feels like he can relate more to those characters or something. I don't know, they could have definitely handled it a lot better. Another issue I had with the movie was that there was very little actual tension. The movie does a spectacular job of declawing one of the most powerful characters in its setting, and that's All Might, of course, for a lot of the movie, but they completely squander the potential to generate real tension. Most of the villains that Midoriya and his classmates face for the entire movie are easily dispatched, and the robots that they fight for a chunk of the movie's climax are basically budget Daleks, and they aren't even that big of a threat. Which is especially annoying when they do nothing but brag that the island's defenses are equivalent to the setting's biggest and most advanced villain prison, but all they have to do is just trip the robots and they stop being threats. The movie also has that unfortunate One Piece movie problem. Its almost are completely self-contained and rarely, if ever, referenced in the actual anime, which lends it to some dubious canonicity. Someone mentioned to me that they make a reference to the Expo in the movie at some point in the anime, and if that's true, that's more than One Piece ever does, so at least Kohei has that over Oda. I didn't find the major antagonist to be spectacularly interesting for a setting that has so much potential. Actually, now that I think about it, it's not just the movie that has this problem. I feel like the anime and manga do as well, so that's a weakness that carries over. The two enemies that Todoroki and Bakugo fight are particularly threatening, and Midoriya basically no-sells the sword arm guy, so the only real major threat in the movie is the primary villain, and he's basically Magneto, so even if you haven't seen the movie, you can imagine how the initial fight with him goes. I can forgive that though, because the second fight with the primary antagonist is spectacular, and it has one of the things I've been wanting to see from the anime that I feel like they completely missed out on, and that being Midoriya and All Might teaming up together to face a major villain. Also, who exactly does two heroes refer to? All Might and David Shield? Midoriya and All Might? Todoroki and Bakugo? Maybe it's not referring to any two specific heroes, and it's just referring to the fact that dual hero team-ups is the cornerstone of much of the movie's actual action sequences. It's probably not worth thinking that deep into it, because it seems like some intern probably just threw the idea out and they just ran with it. Ultimately, it just feels like for the movie, they should have pulled out all the stops and gave us something different, or at least unexpected. In failing to do so, you've kinda just produced an anime movie, and the only real defining aspect of that anime movie is that it's just a really long, marginally better episode of the anime with slightly improved animation quality than normal. I mean, hell, there are several scenes in Two Heroes that were notably poorly drawn, which is an average day for the normal anime, but an atrocity for an animated movie with a larger budget, and several more scenes where they reuse the same frame or handful of frames of animation for a longer period of time than necessary. If I wanted that sort of shit, I'd watch Speed Racer. So, I don't know, I'm torn between liking the movie and wanting to lampoon it harder than I already have. It's good for what it is, and that being a My Hero Academia movie, but even as a reviewer, it's tough to tell if I should dock them points for taking no actual risks with the character or plot, or if I should praise them for not messing much with the series formula. I guess it's just that if you're going to borrow so heavily from One Piece, you shouldn't stop there and at least borrow from that series' successful movies too. Thanks for sticking around till the end. If you want more chunky beef, be sure to subscribe or follow me on social media, links in the description below. See you soon.